Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We're just configuring our audio. It's a very tragic and sad Sunday morning here in Asia, South Asia, Central Asia, and different parts of Asia. As most of you have gotten to know, the passing of Ayatollah has been confirmed by Iranian authorities, and this was coming. This was long coming. Right now, in your window on the right, you can see the skyline of Israel, Haifa, Tel Aviv, and the skyline of Qatar, the skyline of Bahrain. These are live pictures coming through a feed. So, yeah, it has been confirmed that the Ayatollah has been martyred in Iran in his office, and it turns out to be the same attack that the first attack, the first wave attack that killed the Ayatollah. If you understand the dynamics of the Muslim world, it doesn't matter if Ayatollah was from the Shia sects or the Sunni sect. He commanded extreme respect from all quarters of the Islamic world, and this, to be very honest, won't have a good effect on the Muslim world. This would have an inverse effect no matter how you are, how you think it is, no matter where you are from. We're going to take you now to different segments of news and try to see what really happened. So this is the skyline of Jerusalem. This is live pictures. The skyline of Jerusalem. We are watching the chat live. So any one of you guys want to drop in anything, we are watching. So on the left, you see Haifa on the top, and then you see Tel Aviv on the right side. On the extreme left, the second column, Tel Aviv, Israel, North Israel, Haifa, Isfahan, Doha, Qatar, and Bahrain. Because now the Irani media has confirmed the passing of the Ayatollah, uh, things are to be expected to go south really quick. The world expects a grave response from the Iran side, and it looks like the areas around Iran, especially the bases, are embracing for another wave of attack. So now let's go towards some news. How is the world looking at this? This is BBC.
Tonight, Donald Trump says Iran's supreme leader is dead as fears grow for all-out war in the Middle East. US and Israeli airstrikes have targeted operations in Iran, and it's called Epic Fury. The president tells the Iranian people now is the time to overthrow the regime.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Iran has retaliated, hitting many countries in the Gulf, including their residential buildings. This was the scene in Dubai tonight as a large hotel was struck. There are concerns for people living in and visiting the whole area. And this is the scene live right now in Tel Aviv, which has continued to be hit by Iranian missiles tonight.
So this was right after Trump confirmed the death of the Ayatollah. This was later in the night. Now we move on to Al Jazeera. Let's see what they say.
Iranian state media has confirmed the death of the country's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Khamenei's daughter, grandchild, and 2 other family members were also killed in the strikes. Earlier, Iran launched missiles and drones towards Israel and US military bases in the region in response to earlier attacks. The strikes mark a significant escalation in tensions between Iran, the United States, and Israel, and come amid ongoing discussions over Iran's nuclear program. Well, Iranian state TV read out a statement from the country's Supreme National Security Council announcing Ayatollah Khamenei's assassination.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of God, the noble soul of Imam Khamenei, leader of the great nation of Iran, the freedom seekers of the world, and the Islamic nations, has joined the highest paradise and reached his long-cherished wish of martyrdom in the holy month of Ramadan. Today, Iran, the Islamic nations, and freedom seekers in the world are grieving the evil attacks by the criminal Americans and wicked Zionists. Both the bloodthirsty enemy, who are intentionally oppressive, should know the awakened hearts of this world have found their way. And although these martyrdoms are costly for Iran and the Islamic world, it makes them more resistant and determined. And undoubtedly, the martyrdom of a personality of such great stature will begin a great uprising in the fight against the world's oppressors.
Well, we have a team of correspondents in Tehran, Washington, D.C., Ramallah in the occupied West Bank, and Beijing, and also here in Doha. And before we talk live to our teams, we're just...
We have a bit of breaking news that has just come in. Right now, the Iranian state media is telling the people of Iran that the Ayatollah has been killed. Again, Iran's state-run media is now confirming that the Ayatollah has been killed. Earlier, we had reported this, citing President Trump, citing leaders in Israel as well, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, first announcing this. But now we have it even from the Iranians, saying that the Ayatollah has been killed in those strikes. Gabe Gutierrez is still with us right now. So, Gabe, this reporting confirming what the president had said earlier, and again, we can't stress enough sort of the magnitude of this moment right now. He had been there since 1989. This may change the game completely for Iran, change the region. And from what we've seen now, this strike and this killing of the Ayatollah has now started a regional war. Where it ends, we don't know. How much further it goes from tonight and into the morning over there, we don't know. But still a monumental moment.
NBC again.
Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press, is joining us now. Kristen, you just got off the phone with the President of the United States, and he talked to you about Khamenei and the possibility that he may have been killed in strikes. What did he tell you?
This was an extraordinary 3-minute conversation, Yasmin. Let me read you the key takeaways. I asked President Trump if he had confirmation that Ayatollah Khamenei has in fact been killed. He said to me, I've spoken to a lot of people. We feel that is a correct story. Again.
So it was actually the first phase of the attacks, the early morning attacks that actually took out the Ayatollah. We're
Continuing
going live
coverage of the joint
on
Israeli and US strikes on Iran. I'm Nick
doing.
Clark. Iranians are waking up to the news that the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has been killed. Thousands of people are mourning his death on the streets of Tehran. State media say he was killed alongside his daughter and several other family members. The country will observe 40 days of public mourning. The head of Iran's Revolutionary Guard and a top security advisor have also been killed. In response, the Corps has declared what it calls its most intense offensive operation yet, saying it will target Israeli and US military bases in the Middle East. The Speaker of Iran's parliament says a leadership council will be formed to govern the country.
We have prepared ourselves for these moments and have planned for every scenario. Even for the time after the martyrdom of our dear Imam Khamenei, arrangements have been made. You will see that with the formation of a leadership council, an unimaginable level of strength and unity will emerge both.
So for the people who think that Iran is not that sort of a country that is ready for such things, Iran is the most ready country. I think they're the most powerful deterrence is actually their spirit of martyrdom. And this is how they overcome Mossad. This is how they overcome other things coming against them.
Within the defense forces and among the people, and have no doubt that our defense forces have so far only used a portion of their capabilities, and we will respond to the Americans and the Israelis.
US President Donald Trump has responded to Iran's warning of a major response. He has posted on Truth Social. Iran just stated that they are going to hit very hard today, harder than they have ever hit before. He then wrote in all caps, they better not do that, however, because if they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before. All right, we've got a team of correspondents in Tehran, in Washington, D.C., Ramallah, and in the occupied West Bank, in Doha, and indeed in Beijing. But let's first go to Tehran, where Tahid Saidi joins us from. Let's get into this, Tahid. The Supreme Leader
Iraq,
is dead.
All
How
of
is
these
the country now reacting
have been
to this news?
Targeted. And let's see what this correspondent has to say.
Well, it's not just that news, but also other news about the killing of IRGC's commander and also advisor to the supreme leader and other military commanders, which we don't really know. But all in all, I can say that speaking of the public mood, it's a mixture of different sentiments. And of course, we have to keep in mind that we're dealing with a sort of
I
polarization
think this
when it
would
comes to the
this
social
should
fabric
unify
in
the people
Iran.
of Iran,
Part
the
of the
people of
society
Iran,
is
the
quite
generation
in support
of
of the
Iran that
political
hadn't seen the
establishment, and as the
atrocities
state
that
TV's
the
footage
US, the
is
Americans did.
indicating, there
This
are
is
a
for the
lot
first
of
time
people
they're witnessing
attending
it. And I think
streets,
that
specifically
taking
here in
out
Tehran,
a
downtown
leader
Inqilab
of a
Square, and
certain,
across the
any
country,
country,
in
this
other
would
cities
unify the
such as
entire country. This should unify
Mashhad,
the entire
Qom,
country.
Bujnour, and
Whatever
then
happened
also we
was
have
against
another
every
segment of the
international law. Like,
society
how
in
could
which we
this
can
is
see a
like
sort of public
the same country
dissatisfaction, and on that we
who
know
took
that
out
late
who actually went
in
down
last year in
and
December
arrested
we
a
witnessed
president
a
of another country
protest
and
at
brought it
first
to their own
initially
country. I
driven by
mean,
the economic hardships
things
that
are
people were
getting
facing, later
really,
on
really
moving towards other social and
see-through
political
now. I mean,
spheres. So
transparent.
all in all,
You
we
can
can
see
say that
actually,
at least there are
especially
three
when
camps of
Iran
people, a
was
group of
silently,
pro-state
slowly
people,
accepting
the presence
everything.
of whom
They
hundreds
had
of thousands of whom we
accepted
have
giving up on their
already witnessed in the
uranium
demonstrations over the past few
program.
months. Also,
They
there
were
are
they
these
were accepting
people who are
almost
not
everything,
really
but how
satisfied with the
only the
performance
things
of
that
the political
that
establishment, and of
help in
course
the
a gray
sovereignty of
zone
a
in
country. I mean,
between.
their missile
However,
programs, they do
regardless
not
of
have
all
any air
these
defense.
affiliations
So
and
their
camps
missile
that we are
programs, how could
talking
they give
about,
up
there
that?
is right now
And
a sort
it
of
just went on.
frustration,
It
concern,
just
and
goes on to show
anxiety,
that they
specifically
just wanted
seeing the
to
very fact that it
dismantle
happens
this
while the
regime,
country
and
has
that's
been
all. They
under
were looking
attack. And we have
for
to keep in
things
mind that back in June,
they could
Iran
show the world
experienced a war, a
that
campaign
this
of strikes
regime
by the
wasn't doing
Americans
a
and
good job.
Israelis. But right now,
So we're going to
the
move on
scope,
and
the
see what these
scale
guys are saying.
is really not comparable. The stakes are higher, as Iran has already started its retaliatory response targeting different U.S. military bases in the region and the Israeli territories, which is running the risk of a very, very serious escalation.
Okay, so Tahid, as I say, the Supreme Leader is dead. Other senior figures, as you mentioned, are too. So what now for the Iranian leadership? What is the process? What plans are in place for replacement?
Well, actually, there is this Article 111
Guys, we
of the
are reading
Iranian
your
Constitution
comments.
that clearly determines the trajectory of the process down the road in such a situation. The article says, in case of the death of the Supreme Leader, there is going to be a council composed of Iranian president as well as the head
Let's move on to what France 24 is saying.
Philip, good morning. Reza, they're talking about Iran needing to project stability. Tell us more
This is
about what
all
happens
live
next,
TV.
the process that we imagine is going to take place to name a new Ayatollah.
Yeah, it's a process that is supposed to begin pretty quickly, so that there is no real gap between the passage from one supreme leader to the next one. There are certain rules that have to be adhered to. First of all, it's the work of what they call an assembly of experts in Iran. It's 88 members to it. There are rumors that 3 people have already been selected as possible candidates for the job. Now, Ayatollah Khamenei knew that he was under threat
replacing a
and
person,
could at
any
any
person,
point
they
be
are going to mourn
assassinated.
the
And
death
as far back
of
as
the
last summer, he was
Ayatollah,
already
but they
trying to come up with names of possible
it's gonna,
successors
only a
who could
fool
take
can
over from him
think
in
that
the event
they're
of
not ready
a
to go
strike,
forward.
particularly following the 12-day war in June last year. And on that
They
list,
have
we
plan
find
Bs for
the
everything
current
and
president,
everyone.
Masoud Pezeshkian, who is on that list despite having lost some credibility and some support amongst many people in Iran. And then there's another name on there also,
Okay, so
who is
this
the
was France
head of the
24. Let's
judiciary in the
move on.
country.
So this is TRT.
They were doing.
Live.
Here, there's none of that support. In fact, today, the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer kind of distanced himself from what the
Yeah,
U.S.
that's
is
another
doing.
story of
But
Keir
there's
Starmer.
plenty of celebrating in the Western world about the death of the Supreme Leader. There's no question about that. And that alone might make a lot of this more palatable for Western nations, at least in the beginning. But if we do start to see any American lives lost here or significant damage to American bases, that could turn the tide on American opinion polls. Right now, polls already have shown that most Americans do not favor an attack on Iran. We're in this uncharted territory where it's just hard to know what's going to happen next, Oscar.
Okay, Andy Royston, thank you so much for bringing us the latest from
So everyone
Washington,
remembers
D.C.
that Trump was the guy who
Well, let's go
actually
now to our
campaigned
correspondent
to become a
Reza
president,
Hatami, who
saying
joins us
that he
from
was going to
Tehran.
wrap up all the
Reza,
wars
we
around
are
the world,
hearing
and look where
reports
he
of
is right now.
ongoing Iranian
Is this because
retaliatory
of the
attacks
Epstein files?
targeting
Have they
countries
really,
like the United Arab Emirates,
stepped
Qatar,
on it
Bahrain,
when it comes
and
to Donald
Iraq?
Trump?
What are officials there saying about those?
Well, the United States and Israel have crossed every Iranian red line, every possible red line, by assassinating the high authority, the top authority of the country's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, who had been the most powerful man, both politically and militarily, in Iran. And Iranian officials, both the civilian officials and military officials, say that they're going to hit back forcefully and decisively. This scale of Iranian response is unprecedented. We know that Iran and Israel have been, and also with the United States, have exchanged attacks also. But
so that was TRT live. We're going to move on now.
Stands by this in principle.
This is DW
at the same
live.
UN Security Council. We've heard that First Lady Melania Trump will be there next week, and that's also seen by many as a sign that there is not so much interest in this administration when it comes to the United Nations. They have been very critical, saying that the organization is not ending wars, while at the same time using this veto that they have over and over on stopping resolutions, especially when it comes to Israel, when it comes to Gaza. So what we've heard from Mike Waltz, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, being very critical there. But also when we look back at this long statement by U.S. President Trump, where he said we will continue striking Iran as long as it's possible, as long as there will be peace in the Middle East. So many are actually wondering, by a man that claimed over and over that he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, and yet starting yet another war, and telling that by the hypocrisy that we're seeing, not only from the US president, but also from the White House, of saying there should be peace, by continuing this attacks that we expect to continue for at least a couple of days. So many experts also say that the White House felt emboldened by this military action in Venezuela that took authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro to the United States, and that many think that they felt emboldened and thought that they could have something similar in the Middle East. But we're seeing that that's not the case, and we can expect the tension in the region to increase.
Well, DW's U.S. correspondent Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber, thank you very much.
Okay, so that was DW. We're moving on to Sky News now. Let me refresh this.
Khamenei, others appear to be mourning him. It's hard, frankly, for us to know what is the balance between those two. The death of Ayatollah Khamenei has been welcomed clearly in Israel. The Defense Minister, Israel Katz, has already spoken today, seeming absolutely sort of joyous about that. And the simple fact is that at the start of this attack, it was very, very clear that both the United States and Israel wanted regime change. Yes, they were inspired into this by the nuclear enrichment argument with Iran, with Iran's intransigence about nuclear enrichment. Israel absolutely furious and terrified to an
Israel
extent
has nothing
by the
to do with
development
this,
of Iran's ballistic missile battery, and also by the ongoing funding that Ayatollah Khamenei agreed every year to Hezbollah in Lebanon, to Hamas.
We're moving forward. So I'm going to take you back to the skyline of Jerusalem. Let me refresh this. I'm going to leave you here for a quick break. As soon as we're back, we're going to take you down to Twitter and show you the images of the missiles and the back and forth that happened all night. We're going to go through some important tweets, important personalities, important videos, so stay tuned. Okay, so I'm reading out a few comments of yours. Yes, these guys are fools. Rab 865. I don't know if he was at a secure place. We are gonna show you some images right now, the satellite images of where he was. But I think they were playing on reverse psychology, and this is also for the morale of the people around you. That you choose such places that people can actually also see you and interact with. Yes, it is unbelievable news. Reckoner says, a beautiful skyline of Jerusalem, nothing is going to happen. Wait, I skip, okay. Nothing's gonna happen to it. It's going to stay the same when entire Arabian nations stand with Israel and the United States. Well, people have resentments. That is true. People around the world, Muslim around the world, are resented. Actually, no one is safe, Rab. You're right. And yeah, everyone thinks of themselves as well. And yes, Ayatollah is far more powerful as a martyr. Kurt Boss, I agree. These guys do not understand this concept of martyrdom, and I don't. This and during the month of Ramadan, when the Muslims around the world are observing rosas, fasting, uh, this would go. This is bad for even PR. This would go a long way, and people would remember. It doesn't matter if it's Shia or Sunni. The Ayatollah commanded immense respect in the Muslim world, and this comes as a shock to everyone. Elder sister, I hear you. Yes, Kurt, I agree. I mean, this should unite the Iranian people, and not only in Iran but around the world. I mean, uh, going and attacking a country like this and killing the leader, the spiritual leader. It's not only these guys don't understand. This was so wrong, and I think Israel pushed the U.S. this far. But what could um, push Donald Trump this far? A man who campaigned saying that I'm going to bring back all the forces, I'm going to bring back everyone. It's hard to believe what's happening. We are going to discuss if Iran has ever taken down such personalities. We're going to have a few guests. Uh, okay, we'll put a post about it. Yeah, they think that they could change the regime. They don't understand. It's not about the regime. It's about the narrative. It's about their ideology, and for the people, for the Iranians abroad protesting for this to happen, I think they'd also be thinking now, if anyone could go down and take out the head of any country, I mean, even if your favorite regime is there, anyone can come down and do the same to your favorite regime leader. So this isn't good news in any way. Someone is saying that Netanyahu has a compromising footage of Trump. I don't know. I mean, going that far, this is the same person. He's like it took a U-turn. 100 schoolgirls killed. That is true. That is tragic. We're gonna go through that footage too. Stay tuned. Iran is not Venezuela. Yes, a lot of people think that now Iran will go all out. Sky News, Fox News, CNN, etc. All Epstein class. True that. Miss Ayatollah Khamenei. That's so true. Pakistan attacked Afghanistan to destroy all weapons of Afghanistan, so that is in future it wouldn't be able to help Iran. So pathetic. I don't know, man. I have to think about that. Bless Iran and the little children. My love to Iran. Thy Black Widow. Jafar says, Dear bro Ali TM, keep up your noble work. Jazakallah khair. Wassalam. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you very much. I don't know about Putin and China either. I mean, they are gonna assist Iran in every way, but coming into active warfare, I don't know. And also, China does not have that sort of a doctrine. I mean, it follows a different route, the route of business, and this is how they think that the world should expand, should create new relations based on business. Ayatollah was at home. Yes, we're gonna show you some pictures. Netanyahu fled to Germany. Someone is saying in the chat. Yeah, yesterday I saw an Ocean channel that was highlighting a plane that took off from Israel. We need to like double check on that. Putin has to do something. Someone is saying Putin is busy in Ukraine for 4 years, cannot. So all of these superpowers and other countries also have to like pursue their own thing. I read somewhere on a in an article that someone wrote that the big powers would want US to get busy here in Iran like they got busy in Venezuela, in Vietnam. So they could like slowly be taken down, they could slowly be consumed, but on cost of what? On the cost of Irani lives? I don't think if that's a good idea. And getting involved in active warfare, that also, they can give away weapons and assist in different ways, but in active warfare, I don't know. We've got more comments, but we're going to move on from here. We're going to move on to Twitter now. Show you some clips. Missiles being intercepted, missiles coming through the dorm, landing. Footage from Iran. The attack on the school. So we're going to take you back live, one more round of world news, what is happening on international media.
Proposed a deal authorized by Khamenei, but on
This
the eve
is
of
Al
further
Jazeera
talks,
Live.
Israel and the US attacked Iran. With the assassination of Ayatollah Khamenei, Iran now stands at a historic crossroads, facing a future without the man who had guided the nation through turbulent times for decades.
All right, let's take this on with Al Jazeera's correspondent Russell Serda, who's reported extensively from Iran, joining us now on the set. So,
This is France 24 live.
Quiet at this hour, and I think many Iranians are waking up to the news that Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader, has been killed, assassinated in an Israeli airstrike yesterday. Initially, the reports came late last night, roughly about 11:20. Reports on social media citing Israeli officials, including Israeli Prime Minister.
This is TRT
Yemen,
live.
pro-Iran militias in Iraq, as well as Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza. Larijani, the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, told State TV that a transitional council will start its work today, Sunday. According to Iranian constitution, the transitional council is comprised of the president, which is Masoud Pezeshkian now, as well as Judiciary Chief Ghulam Hussein.
Have DW correspondent Mario Mueller in Jerusalem.
We're going to take
China,
you over to DW
I think
Live.
for legitimate reasons, has achieved moving up the value chain and is competing with all the core industries that made Germany rich: chemicals, automotive, machine tools. And China is a leader now in all these industries with the tools of authoritarian state capitalism.
We're taking you back to the skyline for a few minutes, and then we go towards Twitter. Okay, welcome back, guys. Now we're gonna head towards Twitter. So let's see what's going on here.
Is dead. After decades of oppression and brutal murder, the true persecutor of Iran is finally
So this is
dead.
a Chinese.
As a Chinese, I'm here with you Iranians.
What is Kharja saying? Okay. Carry that. Okay, so it says the evacuation of Israeli passengers after an Iranian missile strike targeted an Israeli airport. I don't think so. This is...
بعد از مدتی گفته بود که
Iran's top security official Larajani, Mr. Khamenei, insisted on continuing his life normally without any exceptional measures. That is why. That answers a lot of questions. US is targeting Iranian territory with long-range surface-to-surface ballistic missiles. Foreign tourists in Dubai seek shelter in basement from possible drone strikes. Okay. Iranian staff at Holy Shrine of Imam Raza break down in tears before changing flag to mark the 40 days of the mourning of Imam Khamenei. So this is Dubai airport drone attack. You can see the drone over here. Clashes in Kashmir occurred following the efforts of Indian forces to create barriers and restrictions against the people who had taken to the streets to mourn Ayatollah Khamenei.
They have the ability to defend.
Former CIA officer John Kiriakou. If Iranians sink an aircraft carrier, it's World War III.
They have the ability to defend the nest, and they have the ability to defend themselves against conventional missiles. There's no clear defense against a hypersonic missile. The Iranians have them. They've purchased them from the Chinese. They've also purchased them from the Russians. Well, we're not sure that we can defend against an Iranian supersonic missile. We've all studied the Gulf of Tonkin. We've all studied 9/11. We've all studied Pearl Harbor.
On a good scale. If the Iranians... Okay, this channel is saying armed attack by Lebanese Shiites towards the US Embassy. Dubai seeing things never seen in Dubai.
Oh my god. Fighter jet. Oh my god.
This was the main road, Sheikh Zayed Road.
Fighter jet.
Okay, so the United States has the world's largest nuclear arsenal, follows a policy of first use of nuclear weapons. The United States is the utmost root cause of disruption to the international nuclear order and global strategic stability. This is a Chinese officer. Moment an Iranian missile hit Beat Shamshish Al-Quds. Whoa. Oh. Okay. Mario shares some good. He's very, very updated. We're gonna watch that later. There were reports of Burj Khalifa also being targeted. So let's check this video out. Yeah, there's something flying towards the Burj. It actually hit the Burj. But it was something, it was a projectile, something very small. So you need to be very skeptical while consuming news these days. Be on the lookout of AI, on the lookout of parody channels, on the lookout of made up news. So this is another shot of Dubai. That was actually a missile. That didn't sound like a drone. This is Dubai. This is Dubai. We saw that. We saw this one before. We've seen this one too. So here are people on the street. Osama bin Javed, a renowned journalist of Al Jazeera, he's tweeted Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, 1939 to 2026, Iran confirms death. My life has little value. I have a disabled body. I have a bit of dignity which you all have given me. I put all this on the line, ready to sacrifice everything. May all this be sacrificed for you. So yeah, there's a little bit of war going on our side as well. This is, I think, Bahrain. Iran attack on Israel, it says, but I think this was from Bahrain. Let's check this video. Someone would have asked Grok. Here it is. Let's check what Grok says. No, that is not real. So that's not real. So yeah. So this is how you actually fact check as well. John Kennedy. Khamenei chose war. He paid with his life. Carl Zah says, are you going to pay? So same night, different sky, Iranian missiles slips past Israeli air defenses and slams into Tel Aviv. Interception fails.
תפילה של החיים. יו, 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 יו. יו, 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 יו. יו, תראה את הסיבובים. יודע שזה פה משהו מוגזם. יו! יו, יו, יו. יו! תפילה של החיים. יו, 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 יו. יו, 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 יו.
So you see a missile being chased by another missile, and you see one slip through. And the sound comes way after the slam. This is Tel Aviv. They're saying that this is Tel Aviv. Pictures coming from Tel Aviv.
בשריפה על הגג ובסריקה במבנה. עד כאן? ברור את עד כאן. חולצו כל הלכודים? אנחנו בסריקות. עדיין בסריקות. בשריפה על הגג ובסריקה במבנה. עד כאן? ברור את עד כאן. חולצו כל הלכודים? אנחנו בסריקות. עדיין בסריקות. בשריפה על הגג ובסריקה במבנה. עד כאן? ברור עד כאן. חולצו כל הלכודים?
This is, they say, Kuwait airport. Just for Netanyahu, US has put all its allies in the region in serious danger. This is Kuwait. This is Kuwait airport.
Hey. حجي يعطيك العافيه بس صحت يعني ما في حريق بس تخون ها درون شفتها شايفها بس ما في حريق لا بس ضربت انا شفتها انا كنت بالساحه انا كنت يمي انا بسرداب يمي ضربت في اصابات في احد صاب لا
I'm going to show you again. Looks like something came through here. This place. The airport seems completely empty. People are running. You see this? So that was Kuwait airport. Reported to be from Tel Aviv. I followed this account. It's a very nice account. It says after every US invasion, US media always produces, they are so happy that we bombed their country propaganda.
Is for moments after this crowd learned about the death of Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, they erupted in cheers. There were tears of joy. There were people hugging each other, saying that this is the very moment they've been waiting for
These guys
47 years.
even don't live in
Photos
Iran.
of the people that were
Are they
allegedly
the one
killed
to be
by
shown
the
on
regime.
TV
There were
even?
people here holding those photos and saying that this day is for them.
This is Mario talking about US airstrikes in Iran. Gunman Shah. Dropsize says videos circulating on regional channels purport to show fires and damage in Gush Dan metropolitan area, which includes Tel Aviv, following claimed IRGC attacks. It says that people are celebrating this. If people in Iran are celebrating this, they should be looking at Libya, Syria, Iraq. It doesn't end this way. This was not organic at all. This is Brian Berletic. He has something to say. Let's see what he's saying.
Or perhaps relaunched war of aggression, because of course the US launched a war of aggression against Iran last year as well. And this is almost certainly a continuation of the Trump administration, as all US presidential administrations do, has lied to the American public. They have told them, we will not launch any new endless wars. And people said, that's great, we don't want any more wars. But what they actually meant by no more endless wars is that they're going to instead fight these short bursts of extreme violence, put it on pause, readjust, replenish their stockpiles, and then launch another war and do this again and again and again until they wear down targeted nations and collapse them. So it by no means meant the end of wars of aggression all around the globe. They're just using a different approach to wage them. Now, the US is targeting military and political leadership in an attempt to decapitate it. And there are reports, and I'm looking at them right now. This is AP live updates. They're talking about the supreme leader having been killed in Iran. And I'm going to explain why, despite whether this claim is true or not, despite the supreme leader of Iran being killed, Iran continues to launch a coordinated and highly effective retaliation campaign primarily through their ballistic missile and long-range drone capabilities. I will explain why that is in just a moment. The United States is attempting to strike through airstrikes and missile strikes, attempting to decapitate the military and political leadership. They're also trying to strike at Iranian military capabilities in the hopes of crippling them, creating instability that forces on the ground can then exploit to topple the government entirely. This is something the US has done in Libya, in Syria, in Iraq. People, when they think about Iraq, they only think about the 2003 invasion, but it actually started with Operation Desert Storm in the 1990s. There was a period of years where the US continuously bombed Iraq, targeted Iraqi military capabilities, continuously prevented them from rebuilding them. They had militants and terrorists on the ground causing violence and trying to degrade and destabilize the government until the 2003 invasion began. And then, and only then, did they finally topple the Iraqi government. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind that that is what the US is attempting to do now. The map that I'm about to show you, you're going to see also in AP and other live updates, you're going to see a long list of countries.
Sorry about the overlaying audio. I just read you guys
the
comments.
into all of these countries across
I'll
the region.
Be careful
they are
next
targeting,
time.
and very precisely, they are targeting U.S. military facilities across the entire region.
We're going to move
Look
further
at this
on,
map. This
see
is
what's
just some of
happening
them.
on
This
Twitter.
is
I like Jeffrey Sachs as well. I've written to have him. Let's see how he responds.
Governments are suborned by Israel. They're blackmailed by Israel. They're bribed by Israel. They have weapon systems and intelligence activities with Israel. They use Pegasus and other spy materials. So there's a military-industrial alliance that is at work here that's also very powerful, in which Israel is actually a protagonist, not just another member of the U.S. hegemonic club. So part of this is pro-Israel, and it's the domestic politics.
That's Jeffrey
when Trump
Sachs.
gave his...
We're going to try to have him on too. Air raid sirens blaring across Greater Tel Aviv and occupied West Bank settlements as dawn breaks in Israel 2 hours ago. This was probably after the state of Iran had confirmed the death of the Ayatollah. Okay, breaking. Public mourning has begun in Iran following the martyrdom of Supreme Leader Khamenei. So their protests have been reported from Pakistan, Karachi and Lahore US consulate. When the Dubai airport was hit. It says that when Dubai airport was hit. Tens of thousands of Iranians turn out to mourn their supreme leader. You cannot kill an ideal with So it says at least 108 girls between the ages of 7 and 12 were killed at their school in Minab.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. متاسفانه همونجور که شما فرمودید دو تا منطقه
Israeli media analyzing a direct hit on Tel Aviv, discussing munitions they haven't encountered until now. This is ANI shows images of righteous protest this morning in Srinagar. This is all happening as a new day begins here in Asia. Watch this. This is a strike in Tel Aviv.
Why?
Wow, that's a supersonic.
Why?
That looks like a supersonic. It came down so fast. Here, people gathering to mourn the death of their supreme leader. Look at the number of people. What about these guys? Don't they have a say? You killed their leader. This is an Iranian drone that just hit the naval base in Bahrain.
مسيرة يا شباب مسيرة اضرب 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 عدل.
We're just scrolling down the timeline. The holy shrine of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam in Iraq turns red as a sign of mourning on the assassination of Iran's supreme leader. Okay, these are pictures coming from Dubai. These are things that people have never seen before. People can't believe this. People taking shelter. You see this video. This is all Dubai. So because people don't see this, they're astonished to see this happening in Dubai or Tel Aviv. We are in the habit of watching these things in like Afghanistan or Syria or Iraq. So 18 people, mostly children, have been killed in Lahore in Iran. So this is going to be a graphic content. So I'm going to skip it. Drone from Iraq reportedly crashes in Kuwait as Iranian attacks continue targeting Kuwait International Airport. Authorities report minor injuries, limited damage. So here it is.
अभी ये देख भाई भाई साहब अभी ये देखो वो भाई साहब मर गया क्या भाई वो भाई अभी यार भाई अभी रुक जा भाई वो भाई
The steadfast mountain of the Islamic. After a lifetime of Hosseini struggle, unceasing and untiring, with a lofty and celestial spirit like the steadfast mountain of the Islamic guardianship, the compassionate father of kindness and resolve, the leader and imam of the Muslims, His Eminence Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Hosseini Khamenei, on the path of upholding the exaltation of the sacred sanctuary of the Islamic Republic of Iran, drank the sweet, pure draught of martyrdom and joined the supreme heavenly kingdom. After a lifetime of Hosseini struggle, unceasing and untiring,
This
with
was
a lofty
played on
and celestial
national TV
spirit like
Iran.
the steadfast.
We've had Ali Chishti on the show. Let's see what he says.
Launched its attack on some of its immediate neighbors in Arab and GCC, including Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and of course. So this is a moment that actually requires restraint and not rhetoric. If the leader of Iran, which is Ali Khamenei, were to be assassinated and is assassinated, we not only are looking at a leadership vacuum, but we are looking at a potential systematic shock to the Middle East. Now, there
That's
is
what
of
they
course
want. They
there is of
want
course an institutional reality to it, and of course we need.
destabilized Iran. So yeah. There are reports of thousands of Iranians gathering in Tehran after the news of the death, martyrdom of Ali Khamenei. Okay, so this is Kuwait. From Kuwait to Saudi Arabia, all United Arab Emirates and the United Arab Emirates, all countries hosting US military assets reported Iranian missile attacks on their territories. Bloomberg. I think this is a collection, a collage. Okay, we're going to turn this on.
Holy mother. Vas-y, j'ai envie de dire à Sarah de descendre, on se casse. Après, il y a pas de... Ouais, mais quand même, peut-être pas être pour incident. Ah, c'est permis. Oh putain, tu es ouf. Holy mother.
So these are the images.
U.S.
Sayyid
positions
Mohammad
in the
Mirandi.
Persian Gulf and during the last 24 hours, the Iranians have been hammering U.S. positions in the Persian Gulf and in Palestine. That is despite the fact that he was martyred. No, the Iranian state is very strong. The constitution is very clear. The armed forces are competent and capable. And Iran's allies across the region right now are up in arms, and the Iranian people are up in arms. This is not a war that the United States can win. It will lose. Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the axis of resistance will deal the United States and the Israeli regime. And during the last 24 hours, the Iranians have been hammering U.S. positions in the Persian Gulf and in Palestine. That is despite the fact that he was martyred.
That's Professor
No,
Mohammad
the
Marandi.
Iranian
As
state
I've mentioned earlier, we have written to him to join us on our show. So let's see. So I'm going to leave you with the skyline of Jerusalem. And I'm going to take a short break. See you in a bit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back. I just read the comments, and I'm sorry about the audio. We're just trying to balance it now. I'm gonna try not to speak over the video volume. So let's quickly first check what is the international media saying. Let's go live. This is
Many they
Al
still
Jazeera.
have they depleted all the arsenal? We don't know. We keep hearing that. We keep hearing that every time there's a long salvo of missiles being launched to every of the targets. The effective, if they are effective or efficient, we cannot say that. So far, it has been very low the success. But what is the Iranian strategy here is what we don't know. Maybe what they want is to deplete, to exhaust the defenses of all the countries altogether, and then focus on some. It's very difficult to predict what is going to happen right now. But they have been consistent so far for more than 24 hours. How long this will remain, we will see along today. My concern is that how much of this infrastructure.
So that was Al Jazeera. We're moving on to France 24 English
be the
now,
last nudge
live.
that would, in effect, actually achieve a strategic objective. So that's the positive way of looking at things, the hopeful way of looking at things. If it doesn't work out that way, and the regime outlasts the current storm, then it's very bad news for the free world, because it will have demonstrated the limits of American power.
I want to just turn quickly back to our foreign affairs editor, Philip Troll, for perhaps a final word reacting to what we've just heard.
Which means that we are in a great period of uncertainty. We don't know how this is going to work out. I don't think anybody can cry victory right now, neither on the Iranian side nor on the US or the Israeli side. That's why we will have to wait for results over the next few days, how the Iranians are going to deal with this, whether the US and Israel can keep up their strategic bombing raids against Iran, and whether that will be enough to get rid of the regime there. And the other question, of course, which we still can't answer today, is what is the reaction going to be from the Iranian public? Will they be able to take over the country when they know that the Iranian Revolutionary Guards and factions which support the Iranian regime have integrated all walks of life and society in Iran, and they are ready to fight back at any moment if protests resume in the country to try to take power?
I don't know how could the US and
Questions
Israel
and the uncertainty,
miscalculate,
Philip. Thank you so much. That's our foreign affairs editor, Philip Turl. Michel Yakovlev, former lieutenant general who teaches at the School of International Affairs, also joining us. Thanks so much to you both. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us if you can. We'll be back with more.
That was France 24. We're moving on to TRT.
Are now in charge. President Masoud Pezeshkian is expected to lead the country through a transitional period, while a leadership council temporarily assumes all duties until the next supreme leader is chosen. A panel called the Assembly of Experts is tasked with selecting Khamenei's successor. According to Iran's constitution, the Assembly is responsible for appointing, overseeing, and, if necessary, dismissing the supreme leader. The current 88 members of the Assembly of Experts was elected by popular vote during the last parliamentary elections, which took place on this day in 2024. Iran's Revolutionary Guard reports directly to the Supreme Leader, who also serves as Commander-in-Chief of the country's military. Javier Abu Eid is an author and a former advisor to the Palestinian Liberation Organization. He joins us now from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Welcome to the program, Javier. From your perspective in Ramallah, how do Palestinians and regional observers interpret the military gains that both Israel and...
Brave women, on screen and off, telling personal stories of repression at the hands of systems that try to silence them.
In Gaza,
this is
until the Houthis.
Sky News. Let's see what they have.
Relocated footage of the air drop to a tent camp in central Gaza.
These airdrops are falling in extremely populated areas.
We combine traditional reporting with advanced analysis of satellite imagery, social media, and other open source information. And this is just one of the strikes and incidents we've been able to geolocate across Gaza. Sky News has found Nazi speeches and marching music have been used as background sound on tens of thousands of TikTok videos as far-right groups try and spread their message. Sky News has seen 72,000 posts used in this way. There's no evidence yet of foul play at Heathrow. It shows weaknesses that enemies could take advantage of. Elon Musk says it is, quote,
This is by
a
Al
viper's
Jazeera
nest
English.
of radical left
Live
Marxists
pictures
who hate
here in
America.
Doha once
Supporters
again
say
where
it
we've heard
saves lives and
missiles being intercepted this morning. You can see the impacts of that with smoke billowing there on the horizon as cars still on the road. Ibrahim Sultan Al-Hashimi is Director of Media and Communications in Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and he says that Qatar reserves the right to respond to the attacks.
In the name of God the Merciful, the state of Qatar condemns in the strongest possible terms these ballistic missile attacks and considers this operation as a blatant violation of its sovereignty and the safety of its territories, and also a grave escalation that threatens the stability of the whole region. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already affirmed in an official statement that it reserves its full right to respond in accordance with international law and with the Charter of the United Nations in proportion to the size of the attacks in order to protect its sovereignty and to protect its higher interests.
Well, as we mentioned, Iran is targeting US assets in the Gulf region for a second day. Several loud blasts have been heard in Dubai and, of course, here in Doha, the capital of Qatar, from where Axel Islamovich is standing by and has the very latest. So, Axel, the Qataris have said there were dozens of missiles and drones launched against the country yesterday and overnight, and those strikes now continuing this morning.
Yeah, that's correct, Nick. We've seen another wave of attacks coming from Iran. In the past hour or so, we heard at least 10 explosions over the Qatar's capital, Doha. But what we understand that there is a plume of smoke rising from the industrial area. That's the neighborhood here in Doha. But we don't know what exactly caused that plume of smoke. It could be a falling debris, it could be one of the missiles. But at this point, we don't understand what actually happened over there. But from this vantage point, Nick, I have to mention that those explosions that we heard this morning, they were very, very loud. And it really goes to show that the situation here is not winding down. In fact, it's becoming even more frequent in terms of these attacks. Right now, the situation remains calm, but there are imminent threats. There's going to be more attacks coming in the next hour or so. But what we understand that we also received an emergency alert going off on our mobile phones, where the authorities here in Qatar are urging everybody to stay indoors and avoid any unnecessary movement. But also, we are getting reports that there's been more attack in Dubai and across the region. We also heard that air raid sirens went off in Bahrain, and that's what we understand. And of course, the entire region is following what's going to happen next.
All right, that's a picture there in the region with the smoke billowing from the latest interception that has taken place of missiles coming in from Iran here into Doha,
the entire airspace of Iran. You can see there is nothing. Iraq. What's this? There's a So these are all towers and airports. Nothing over here. Few flights over Saudi Arab. Few flights in Jordan towards the west side. There's one incoming flight to Israel, Tel Aviv. The rest of the airfield is completely empty, as you can see. And to bring you a better picture, this is how the traffic looks like in actual. So it's daytime here and it's nighttime here. This is the Far East, Thailand, South Korea, China. You got Australia. This is India. This is Pakistan, and here starts the gap from here to here. Things are pretty quiet here. Let's check out how the Strait of Hormuz looks like right now. Yeah, this is how the cargo ships around the world sail and the map looks like. So we want to go into the Strait of Hormuz, which is going to be over here somewhere. Here it is. So you see a lot of traffic coming in over here, but the strait is actually this area. The small part that is going inside Iran right now. So, you see this? This is Iran. And there's a stream is going actually inside Iran. This is the Strait of Hormuz. So this is pretty empty. As you can see, it is blocked. The amount of traffic over here and the amount of traffic here, there's a big difference. This is how the Strait of Hormuz looks like. This is also UAE, Sharjah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Doha, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and all of this is Iran. Here is Pakistan. So there is a lot of traffic coming in, but inside the strait, this is pretty empty. We can check what sort of ships these are. The green one. This is the name SLS Topaz. This is how the carrier looks like. One is here, the red one. Glory. This is also, I think, a oil tanker. Check this one out. This is an Irani crude oil tanker. This is an unspecified ship. So most of the ships over here would also be like cover-up ships. Ships that look like cargo ships, but actually are IRGC ships. Okay, guys, if you want me to read out your comments, you can like add your name at the end of your comment. So this is how the Strait of Hormuz looks like. I'm going to zoom in so you understand. Let me open another map. This is how it is. I'm going to put on the skin. These are not live pictures. This is just to give you an idea. This is the island of Hormuz, actually. And it's pretty photogenic. Check this out. Wow. Actually, a pretty touristic place. The island of Hormuz, which is why this strait is called the Strait of Hormuz. This is Bandar Abbas. This is how it looks like. Again, not live pictures, just to give you guys an idea. And this is the traffic right now. It's all blocked here on this side and blocked here on this side. But if you zoom in here in the strait, this is actually just a few ships. I'm gonna just make another scene in the OBS. Hang on in there. Okay, just made a new scene. So this is there are a lot of things, a lot of videos and pictures from from an incident that remains in your memory forever. The last time was this. Let me put it on, in fact. It's this video. The last attack that Iran did on Israel, this video comes in mind. This is a saxophone player in Lebanon playing a saxophone while barrages of missiles come down on Tel Aviv. I'm going to play the sound for you as well. I think it's going to be these pictures. This would be unforgettable. This is Dubai, and you can see like barrages of missiles coming down through this cloud. Check this out. This is a flash of an interceptor colliding with a missile, but the rest are landing. This one, this one, this one. This is, I think, Bahrain. Strait of Hormuz is officially closed. Shipping is the next calamity.
Through the Strait of Hormuz is forbidden. No ship in every time. This is Sepah Navy, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. From now on, all navigating through the Strait of Hormuz is forbidden. No ship in every type is not allowed to pass from a Strait of Hormuz till next notice. This is Sepah Navy out. This is
They say that this is the picture, the compound of Khamenei, Ayatollah Khamenei's house. This is where he was. We're gonna find some more pictures. These are live, almost lives, 18 seconds earlier. Smoke rising from Jabal Ali, Dubai. There's that video again. Okay, we're gonna take one more round of the news. Live news as it happens.
Where he
This
would
is
be
Al Jazeera
eliminated
Live.
and other senior figures. So they have plans in place, and those plans are taking into account not only the running of the country, but the response that we're seeing across the region.
Yeah, indeed. So that was quite clear. So the process of getting so going through the election of the supreme leader definitely was pre-planned, and but then how they're responding to the attacks is something. So Iranians were seeing that we got our lessons during the 12 days war, and they have studied on several strategies. One of the things was that if we de-escalate, Israelis and Americans are going to
France
be more
24.
aggressive. So that's why, even if it is a limited strike, we need to respond.
It's I don't know enough of Iranian society to say if it's unrealistic or not, but it's a bit preposterous from the American president to say, to believe he can say, let's say in 2 or 3 days, I've done my part of the job, now it's yours to take over. That's the easy way out. Now, Trump has a tradition of betraying
Okay, you
all
guys
his
still
allies.
can't hear me?
The last ones being the Ukrainians, and before that it's been the Afghans. I doubt that there is
Thai Black Widow says, could you please turn up your sound
in the Iranian public.
on the microphone?
In reality,
You guys can't hear me now? I think I did.
It's a really open question.
Okay, we're going to move on to the
Trump
next.
wants this to be a few
This
days.
is TRT World.
Regime change
Breaking
has
news
never been
coverage
achieved
of the
that
US
way
and Israel's
in
attacks
history.
on Iran
This
and
would be
Tehran's
a first,
retaliatory strikes.
and personally,
Iran's
I'd
supreme
welcome
leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and top security officials have been killed in the US and Israel's ongoing attacks. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps has pledged revenge and says it has launched attacks on 27 bases hosting US troops in the Middle East, as well as Israeli military facilities in Tel Aviv. Explosions continue to be heard in Qatar and the UAE. US President Donald Trump has warned that Iran will be hit with a force that has never been seen before if it hits very hard today. Iran's government says an interim council, including President Masoud
so
Pezeshkian,
that
will
was
oversee the country
TRT.
until
We're
a
gonna
new
move
supreme
on.
leader.
Yeah.
This is DW live stream.
We grew up with the idea that as long as the Nazi era is over, we We do have democratic values, and therefore we don't have nothing to worry about. There is still a lot of work to do to really...
That was DW. We're going to move on to Sky News now.
Yeah, let's not forget, as well as the leader of Iran and as well as a very, very bad man.
The Torah was saying they have the weapons as well.
But in his speech yesterday, he's sort of created a bit of space. As you said, he's calling for them to rise up. But in doing so, he's saying, now's your time. Take over your country as you see fit. But as you said, it's such a fractured country as is that it's going to be difficult for them to rise up without a clear leader who will take on that opposition role.
And also not totally clear the extent to which Donald Trump will stay committed to this conflict.
And that is very dependent, one thinks, on his domestic position and the fragmentation, arguably, within the MAGA group, the MAGA support base. Some who voted for him precisely, or at least partly.
Okay, so that was Sky News. I'm going to take you back to the skyline. Okay, guys. I'm going to take you back to Twitter. Iranian anchor breaks down while speaking about Iran's supreme leader who was killed yesterday. This is going to be in Persian.
إنا لله إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون بعد از عمری مجاهدت حسینی و دائمی و خستگی ناپذیر
Yes, we saw this.
روح بلند
I'm
و
going to be more
ملکوتی
careful with the audio now.
کوه نستوه ولایت
Tel Aviv this morning, 4 minutes ago. This is another video of Tel Aviv. It says a senior Iranian official U.S. ships will no longer be allowed to enter the Persian Gulf. Senior Iranian official ships will no longer be allowed to enter the Persian Gulf, Al Arabia. Some more footages. Israeli-U.S. airstrikes continue. Watch Sky News cover the explosion in Dubai.
Fill us in on what's happening there then.
Yeah, it has been quite a 24 hours, Anna, and it was a very eventful night as well. The UAE has confirmed it's intercepted what they've said were hundreds of drones and missiles flying into UAE airspace. And there's been another 2 series of very loud bangs of air defense this morning. You might be able to make out behind me this rather large plume of smoke. That is Jebel Ali port area, where there's a significant buildup now of American naval assets. That was hit just before 2 o'clock this morning, quite a large explosion. Now, the official line is that it was debris, but it really is quite a significant plume of smoke that's still rising all these hours later above Dubai's skyline. And that wasn't the only area to be hit. Dubai Airport was hit last night around midnight. We all received emergency alerts on our phone, 3 emergency alerts in around the space of 10 minutes, followed by lots of loud bangs. And then shortly afterwards, a video emerging of shrapnel on a concourse at Dubai Airport. They've confirmed that it was hit and that 4 members of staff were injured. Really, really surreal scenes to experience here in the UAE at the world's busiest airport, which remains closed. Air travel is suspended again today across the region. And Abu Dhabi was also hit at their airport shortly after, apparently by an intercepted drone, but it did result in the death of 1 person. Now, you may be familiar with the iconic Burj Al Arab Hotel, that 7-star hotel in the shape of a sail on Dubai's coastline. Well, that was also hit by falling debris with smoke coming out the side of it last night. Absolutely extraordinary scenes that would normally be completely unthinkable here. As I say, air travel is suspended. People here are very nervous. I was receiving messages last night of people seeking options of leaving Dubai and making their way to
northern Emirates. Some people have made their way to the Omani border and crossed into Oman. They deem it to be a safer place because Oman, of course, have been the mediators between Iran and the US in these talks, and it's one of the Gulf states that hasn't been hit in this last 24 hours of attacks by Iran. And people have been sleeping in safe rooms. I was receiving photos last night of tourists in the basements of their hotels, of local residents sleeping with their children on the floor in rooms without windows, because that emergency alert that came in at midnight, the warning was to shelter in place and to stay away from windows. It was very nerve-wracking, and certainly the air defence explosions over my house were very loud indeed, and they shook a couple of times. We've had another 2 waves of that this morning. People have been warned by the UAE authorities not to stockpile. They've been reassured by authorities that they are, in safe hands. But that hasn't stopped people panicking. And to give you an idea, at my local store this morning, there's a queue of around 200 people. Shelves are empty. People are really worried. And I think there's also a real sense here, not just among tourists who now can't get home, but also the 250,000
So you need to
British
remember,
citizens that live here, that have chosen the
people will fly
UAE as
off
their home. People don't like that
to other
sense of feeling trapped.
places looking for shelter. Iran has now been in an internet blackout for 24 hours. CIA reportedly tracked Iran's supreme leader's movement for months. It says Iranians celebrating US-Israeli airstrikes. I don't know if they're celebrating the airstrikes or not, but if they are, they should look at Iraq, Syria, Libya, a lot of examples. There's also a kerfuffle going on in Karachi here in Pakistan, in front of the US consulate in Karachi. A lot of pictures from Tel Aviv, footage from Dubai where derbies fell into an industrial area, likely Jabal Ali. This is a thick cloud of smoke. So this is people coming out for the Khamenei. There have been reports of people getting killed here in Pakistan during protests outside Karachi consulate. This is from the Jabal Ali port. This is a thick cloud of smoke. So the things, images, pictures like these for Dubai is like unbelievable. So they say that these bunker busters were used. This is amazing footage. Iranian ballistic missiles are seen passing over Nablus in Palestine. There you see it going. Dubai and Doha hit by multiple waves of Iranian missiles. So they say that these are the regions that Iran targeted. So I think that's it for now, and we shall keep you updated. Stay tuned, and to be on record, we have received messages from the Iranian embassy confirming the death of Ali Khamenei.